Greetings and welcome to Factorio. I'm Dgray, and today we continue our entry level to Megabase, or to some degree we're actually ending it today, or at least we're getting to our initial goal of 4K science a minute. So it's so exciting. I'm so excited that we actually made it to this point. I just let the base run for about an hour and a half, just to see how it holds up in terms of our science of minutes, our consumption and whatnot. And what I came up with, if we look at a production tab of last 10 minutes, we are consuming 4K science per minute, which was our initial goal. But for the keen-eyed, and something that most of you have probably noticed while watching this, is that our space science is actually producing less than that. And there is two reasons for that. You remember we put down the last 5 or 6 a few episodes ago, so we had the 20 rocket launches going. But I had miscalculated a small amount, because if we look here, it peaks out at about 3.6 on an average when everything is running. Right now, our limits over here on all of them of 60k is making sure some of them don't launch. So I kind of want to fix that this episode, and while we're doing that, I'll talk a bit about the base and what a journey it has been getting to here. So firstly, let's just solve our two things I want to fix in this base before we call it a true 4K science a minute build. So one of the things we did early on to sort this filling up was that we put in what's it called, a little circuitry here saying that we'll only put one in. Oh, it's gonna make a lot of noise now. Let's move a bit away. Only put a satellite in if there's less than 60k in this one, because we have room for 96k in one of these. The problem is that these will get emptied out, and the one further away will fill up, and that will leave us with right now almost about 650k space science in storage, and that is not optimal. So the way I'm gonna solve that is quite simply setting the limits to something that's less than what one of these just can hold. So instead of saying you will launch when this is below 60k, I'll connect you up to the logistic network and say you'll launch if there's less than 60k buffered instead. So this one should turn green if we take off these. Oh, sorry, not turn. It will be what's called red. Just connect it up again, just to we have something to compare to the other ones. But make sure this doesn't work since it's going for this one now. So in theory, that means we should be able to copy this to all of them. And let's see here, that turns red just as we expected. And do that to the other ones. So we will not launch any rockets for a little while, since we are completely buffered. But in terms of getting to work as a true 4K science per minute, this is something I want to get done, so we don't buffer so many things and still have what's called storage for about 15 minutes of production. 4K science per minute, doing this up to 60, mean that we can have what's called 60 or 15 minutes of production. I think that is good enough in terms of storage. So let's just turn it off. Oh, let's put these in. That will turn off all rocket launches for the foreseeable future, but will make the base run a lot smoother and still be a true 4K. So as soon as I put these in, that also means we can easily add in 2 more cells, or maybe even 3, to fill up the rest and make it look a bit better. So most of this in here is starting to be done. We can remove many of these things. Still a small amount being mined out, so we won't place it down in here. But we can just make 3 other ones right here on the side to finish off this build. Could also just see how this lines up. It will fit in almost one in that corner. Can it fit in one over here? So we can actually do one over here if we wanted to. So okay, let's see. You can go away. You're not needed. This is not needed either. There's a bit here we need to mine out. We might be able to skip that if we're just putting down 3. But let's just clear all of it out and place it down again if we want to. Oh, let's just save a blueprint of that. Oh, we can't, to be honest. We can do this then. Take you away and let's save a blueprint. So we have one in storage. And then deconstruct you. Let's deconstruct all of the roboports as well. And see how this looks. But yeah, that is pretty much all we need for these to work as intended. So yeah, let's just put 3 on the side, then we'll fix this in the future if we go back and revisit this, or we check back maybe just to see it running with all the rockets launching as soon as we empty out our storage. That could be quite cool. So 1, 2, 3. That will give us the rest we need for our 4K science. Will actually give us a bit more, but we are limited by how much our labs are consuming, so that won't be an issue at all. So let's just get the rest of this filled in. We'll need to get the miners to take care of this. Should be quite simple to do it right here, and the rest, let's see here, fits one in. That will cover that part, and we'll just move it over 1 and go down here and get the rest of these. There we are. Oh, and one thing I completely forgot about. A lot of episodes ago we made the exoskeleton. So let's put it in, then we can move a bit faster, even at 27 UPS, which slows us down to more than half speed. That is a bit annoying, but yeah, that is what happens once in a while. Oh, we have some here as well we need to clear out. There we go. While this is going, let's take a little look at the base at the moment. So look at this. This is pretty much our base working non-stop, bringing in resources from around the world. We could probably let this run for 10 hours without any issues. We have a nice buffer of stone, coal. We have even more, what's it called, iron out here. We have copper patches. We have more oil being stored. So all in all, we have a lot of surplus in our system, just as I wanted to. And we are doing more productivity at 39. So if you look at our productivity, we are at almost 400. That means one patch gives almost 5 times as much as it says. So if we take, let's just say this one for example, this one doesn't give 11,000, it gives 55,000, which is quite a bit and can last us for a long time. So how many robots do we even have in the air? We have about, what is that, 80,000 robots flying around, giving us 27 UPS. That is, yeah, that is something. And that is just the way it is. If we wanted to expand this into the future, or pretty much get it to more than 4K, we'll pretty much need twice the size we have right now. That is pretty much the case. Not in terms of resources in, because that is pretty well handled, but in terms of pretty much just building the base to twice the size. because this is pretty much ratioed. There's a bit of surplus here and there, but it has been a wonderful journey to do a megabase of 4K science minute. It's actually bigger than I've ever done it before, so that's quite exciting, and the first time I've recorded it. So in that regard, I am extremely pleased with this setup. That is something I can say with certainty. So the rest of these is being built. Things are flowing in nicely. Everything's holding nice, the power as well, and all of this is just working. So yeah, that is pretty much our entire base. Let's have a look to make it a bit clear to see, because this is a bit hard to see how it works. Let's just turn off the robots and have a little look. Oh. Look at that, how clean this looks now. And look at these nice rows. This is pretty much all it takes to make 4K science a minute. And when you look at it like this, it doesn't look like much. But if you zoom out, we're actually taking up, what is that going to be? I'm about to say a quarter, but maybe 20% of the max zoomed out the world. So that is very nice. And look at all the robots we have down. Over here, a new copper outpost being used, so it's good we made it. A lot of green circuits being produced. A lot of blue circuits going around. All red circuits. Look at that insane amount. All of our stars are smelting. That is quite nice. I'm quite glad I labeled, or we labeled all of it. Makes it a lot easier to see, and even marked out how much they produce, each of them. Or at least almost how much to produce. And it's hard to remember, but right here, or about right here, is where our starter base was. Running down this line. Or actually, to be honest, I think it was actually down here instead, because we had to go here for the what's called coal, then up this way for the iron up here. That's almost gone, and a small amount of copper. So that is good, and you are done. Perfect. A huge steel column that is actually being used almost fully. We are not really buffering any steel, only a small amount. So I'm quite happy we built that much, because it turned out it was necessary, and everything is just kinda going. Oh, you need a bit of power. Let's just fix that before we don't look at this base for a little while again. Let's see here. Let's give power to you. That's power to all of our roboports. Brilliant. I think all our iron setup also moving. Then we have all of our electric engines going. All of our plastic, producing a ton of plastic. Almost using all of it. Bit of a surplus, not that much, but a small amount. All of our modules, that is still consuming a bit of resources, but nonetheless, it's working fine. Speed, a ton of low-density structures. They are quite expensive, but they are holding just where we want them, with a bit of a surplus. Same with our engines. Quite pleased with the setups we did here. Glad that we used some belts to move high product items around instead of using robots to do it, because 80,000 in the air anymore, and our UPS will be even worse than it is. And that was a bit of an issue once in a while, that the progress did grind a bit to a halt when we had that many robots flying around. All of oil. Actually don't even know how much of this we are using right now. I think we'll use quite a bit of it. Let's see, all the way down. Here's the first one that's not being used. So we do have enough oil coming in to support all of this, and we even have all of this over here as a backup for all of it. So we are more than set in terms of oil and all the things we need. So that is brilliant. Our science, red is producing more than enough. The same with our green. The few we have. Here's some more greens, green, green. Some blues that are chugging along. That was one of the somewhat expensive builds to make. But yeah, working very easily, producing enough. The most expensive ones though, I think that would be the productivity. They take so many expensive things, the furnaces and the modules, but they are working brilliant, and we did it on both sides to double our inputs. Seem to be just the right amount in terms of what we need to get them all running. So can't really complain about that. Science builds, labs chugging along, working without an issue, doing about 730 science per minute, each one, having a few down. And then all of our rockets, they should all be pretty much ready to launch. Look at that, that looks perfect. And there's some more here. One of the new ones are ready as well. The new ones are missing a small amount, but should soon be ready. But other than that, we have all of our rockets standing by to launch. One thing we could do, no, we can't even do a request a chest to get them to launch. But we could do request a chest to empty out all of the space science, to let it out with or just to show some cool things, and just throw it into normal chests just to watch it go. But then we'll have to move 200,000 items, or actually move 600,000 science, but that is not the worst of it. So we can't see the robots now, but they are working. A ton of solar panels down. Here are tier 2 ones. That actually took most of our resource to make, because they cost the same as normal solar panels. They are just a bit quicker to put down. But look at all of this huge solar fields. They just continue all the way over to here. And look how many we have. It took quite a while to put down, but I'm still convinced that solar was the correct way to go. One thing I do regret not doing though is maybe doing a bit of nuclear in the start, so don't have to wait too long to get all the solar down in the beginning. So maybe setting down 1 or 2 nuclear reactors just to get a few gigawatts of power, expand into a solar when that could handle it, go out of solar, or out of what's called nuclear, or just set up more steam engines to solve it until we had more solar going. But all in all, it went quite well, and I'm quite pleased with it. So yeah, this is pretty much all you need to do a 4K science per minute. And yeah, quite pleased with that even. So yeah, everything is just running very smooth. This will clear out. Do tell if you want me to do a longer video where it just watches these launch and to see that in action. In theory, we could get them all to launch if we wanted to, just by removing the constraints. And it could be fun to see as one of the last things we do this episode, just or this series even, just watch all of these launch one at a time, going down the lines, getting them to go. And as soon as all of this is filled, I think that could be a good end to the series. watching about 23 rocket launches in a row, just going down the line. I at least think that could be a somewhat cool thing. Before that, I want to give my closing thoughts on the build with robots. And as most of you know, as all of you know, I think it was at episode 65, we added a few mods to it. Not overpowered mods, but just mods to make it possible to do this with robots, because you could do it vanilla, but you run into issues with the amount of power you need to produce for the robots to continue to work, because you'll need so many. And because if you need to do that, the UPS will go way lower than this. Because right now we would have needed, I would say, normal robots take 4 items per minute. The ones we have right now take 14. So we'll need about 3 to 4 times as many. So that means we'll need like 300 flying around to get the same throughput. And that would be quite annoying. I was about to say you needed 3 times the amount of power. And that might be true to some degree. So you'll have to place down even more solar fields. And if I didn't have the mod that added better solar fields, you'll pretty much be doing this for days. So going to 4K only on vanilla is gonna be something that is possible, but not practical. If you wanted to do this with robots in the future, if I wanted to do it again, I'll probably do a robot base in here, but I would just transport all the things in with train, and that way we would have a very nice setup. So train stations coming in, into active providers, robots will distribute it into storage chests and into the machines, and just have a limit on when the trains can come in and unload the certain types of resources to, let's say, a few million in storage. That would mean that if you look here on the map, robots on the map, that all of the robots that's going outside pretty much this circle would disappear. And that is the main problem with robots, is the long distance. And I understand why the devs don't want robot cargo size, because then we don't need to use trains at all. You could just do what I did. But doing a train one is also very fun. I've done that a few times in quite a few of my series. I think most recently in my Industrial Revolution one, where we did a train Megabase, or train grid base at least, when we went through that. But then again, right there we used LTN instead. So in that regard, it's not completely mod free, but it is possible to do. So I don't think I want to drag this out anymore. Let's just check one more time at our science. Still going strong at 4K, still producing 4K of everything. But yeah, this is completely stopped now, but running 4K without any problem. So let's do a nice simple launch. Let's just, wonder if we can just copy this one and it will launch. Because we probably could. Let's just see. Let's do a 23K rocket launch. Let's see, is it this simple? No, we'll have to run from silo to silo to do it. And yeah, I think that would be a good way to end this. So thank you everyone for following along for this this trip. It's been a hell of a journey, not gonna lie. So let's just take this one out, let's throw one in and watch it go. Let's run to all of them. Could actually just request in a few, but let's do this, watching the rockets go one at a time. go. Let's go down here so we can see him and go take the other ones afterwards. One more launch right there. Look at them go. Oh, look at it. It's so beautiful. Let's just watch it from there again. More launches, more launches. Oh, I love rocket launches. It's brilliant, and it's been a while since I've done it by hand, to be honest. But I must agree, it has some kind of gratification, can you call it that? Watching them go. Goodbye, little rockets. Oh, just listen to that sound. That is brilliant. Oh. Why do I have so many rockets in my inventory? Oh yeah, I'm picking up more than that. Go, go, rockets. Fly away. Look at them all go. Oh, I love it. Only a few left before we'll call this the end. Could probably just run the last few and then watch it from the map view. I think that would be cool for the last few of them. And I think this is the last one. I was wrong. That's a few. Wow, we have a lot of rockets. Here's the last two. That is 23 rocket launches. And that is a very good end to this this series. Here they go. God, man, look at that. That is just brilliant. What if this one catches up with that one? Come on, you can do it. Overtake it. Oh, that looks good. Another one here. Go, go. And yeah, that is the end, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you'll like and subscribe. So many of you have done already. The support have been amazing. And yeah, that will be the end of this series. Do comment what you thought about it, what your comment was, anything I could have done differently, what you liked, what you disliked. I'm open to see all of it. So let's just watch the robots one last time, go around, moving in more resources to continue launching rockets to the end of the world. That is it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Oh, it's so weird being at the end of a series. It's been a great journey. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you'll join me in the next one. Not sure what series we'll do, but as long as you guys are watching along, I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of fun for me and hopefully a lot of fun for you. So take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.